So Lounge is kind of a disaster. Don't you agree, honey? Yeah, it's a mess. And it's been quite a week. So I was going to tidy everything up and then make a video, and work got crazy. And so I decided to make a video while I was tidying up and talk about that. Because when you have a tidy sewing space to get started with, it makes everything better and it makes those projects turn out a lot better. As you can see, I have not done any tidying since last week's video. And that's going to just have to be okay because this has been a week. And I don't know about you, but this was like my first full week back at work since the holidays. I did have 2 days of court on the 2nd and 3rd, and then bam, this week, which was jam-packed full of clients, and it was just crazy busy. I had to go back after lunch 3 days, which is very unusual because usually it's 2 at the most. And then the other thing that happened was that Grandma fell last Saturday. It's okay, she's fine. She was in her room and she was wearing socks and turned and slipped on the wooden floor. So thankfully, Anna was there and helped her up and got her situated. And she seemed to be doing all right for most of the week. And then by Thursday, she really started feeling bad with a lot of muscle pain and just discomfort. Grandma can't take a lot of pain medication, and so she hadn't really taken anything since the fall. So by Thursday, she was ready to take some leave and start trying to start feeling better. So that's been another whole factor in all of this, and getting things picked up and organized, and you know, a video for this week. And I wasn't going to make one because I was like, hey, I've got enough on my plate. And I've gone over to see Grandma after work. Thursday was actually really crazy because I didn't just go after work. I ran over there at lunch, left court at 11, went to see Grandma, picked up some leave for her, and then I also, helped her get some breakfast, got her situated, and then went back to court, and then went back to Grandma's and made her some more food, made her some soup in the afternoon, and hung out with her. And then Friday I was at court until noon, and then finally made it over to help Grandma and get her situated. So it's just been a lot of unplanned activities this week. And thankfully, Grandma should be on the mend and starting to feel a little bit better now that we've kind of gotten her on a regimen of taking a leave every 12 hours. And but she's older, and muscle pain hurts, for all of us when you don't move around a lot and you've pulled something. And then it's just been, she's just hasn't been feeling good. So her spirits are still good. She said she's going to get over this. And, I keep telling her, like, we have to make bound buttonholes, Grandma. And she actually said she has to teach everyone how to make tailor tacks first because they are a crucial component to making buttonholes. So I'm glad that she's still interested in making videos with me and that she's got that to look forward to as part of her recovery process. But yeah, man, it's really been a week. And I wanted to get everything tidied up, and initially I kind of planned to make a video about the the torn kimono, tear and serge kimono project. And then I was like, oh, I need to make a sheet for all the measurements so you can keep track of that. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll do a video about interfacing and using interfacing so that, everything looks good and you don't use the wrong kind, that sort of thing. And then, that didn't happen. So now I'm like, do I make a video? Or do I just create a post and say, hey, no video this week? And then I thought, you know what? I do have to get my sewing room cleaned up. So maybe I should just do that. And we'll get by. And it'll all be okay. I think I'm going to put these on some cardboard bolts. And I have some over here in the corner behind this table that I have to crawl down and get. because there they are. I got like a bunch of these, and then, is that the right? Oh, these are the small ones. That should be okay for this though, because this is, oh, these are, yeah, that'll fit. Okay. So the good thing about using this broadcloth fabric that is primarily for quilting is that it is always 45 inches wide. Most of it is. They have a couple that's a little bit wider. So it fits on these smaller bolts. And if you didn't know, Joann's will give these to you. If they have any at the cutting table, you just have to ask, because it just basically means that whoever's working there doesn't have to make a trip out to the dumpster later that evening with all the empty bolts. So I actually got a whole bunch when my Joann's was closing and then relocating. But, you know, if you want some, I also bought this cool rounder for $25, which was a bargain price. And Dan spray painted it white for me to match the rest of my, you know, sewing table and other table and shelves and everything. And so it's not that ugly almond color. But, you know, even if you don't have one of those and you have some shelves, having these little cardboard bolts is a really nice way to just keep your fabric better organized. And it doesn't get quite as wrinkled. I mean, you're going to have to iron it to get that fold out, but at least it's, you know, you can see it and then you don't forget about it because you got it in a bin in the closet. So I also have a bunch of these. I got these little plastic kind of alligator clips on Amazon. And it was like 1,000 for like $10 or something like that. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check them out, if you want to adopt this system. But yeah, I was like, oh, I could make a video tracing off my patterns or cutting out fabric. And, you know, I had these great plans, and then I just don't have the energy this week. And that happens, you know, that's too small. Okay, I'm gonna crawl under the table again. See if I can find something. Ow. I think the bigger ones are in the back corner. Yeah. I don't know why I put them back here in hindsight, because they're much harder to get out. All right, let's try this again. Okay. This will work. This is actually the fabric I'm planning to use. I think I said that in last week's video for the Tear and Sew kimono. It is a rayon broadcloth. So it's a little softer than regular 100% cotton, but it's a little bit drapier, let's put it that way. It's still soft. This is a really high quality Kaffe facet from Free Spirit, so it's a good one. And this is also Kaffe. I like his designs. I actually think they're way better suited for clothing than quilting and cutting these into tiny squares, because I love the fabric design in its totality. But, you know, technically, he primarily designs fabric for quilting. So I'm just trying to, I always find that getting everything tidied up makes me feel better. And since, you know, it feels like things are a little out of control lately with, you know, not being able to control when I leave work, or, you know, having these unexpected long days, and then going to help grandma and, you know, not having my afternoons planned the way that I want. Because I'm very happy to go help grandma, and I'm blessed to be able to still have my grandma. But I just, you know, I wasn't planning for this. We were all thinking she was getting so much better, because she was up until Thursday. So that was hard, just because, you know, she really isn't feeling good right now. But we're hoping that things will be on the mend, and she doesn't want to go to the doctor because, you know, she just doesn't. She's like, what are they going to do? My doctor's going to send me to the hospital, and I don't want to be poked by a bunch of strangers. And we're like, okay, grandma, you know, if you don't want to be poked by strangers, can't really blame you for that. So, okay, this is way too wide. This is some of my London fabric, so it's not exactly the standard bolt size. I'll put this back in the bin. And then I've got this knit. I think this is 60 inches wide, so this should fit on this bolt. Do you find that when you feel like you have a little out of control moments in life that folding makes you feel better? I know that another thing that I like doing when I feel like, you know, I lack control is to organize, you know, like clean out drawers and that sort of thing. Plus it's January, so I just kind of feel like it's also a good time to just kind of get organized again for the year. And since I'm going to be sewing with these fabrics, I figured I may as well put them on the bolt and then put the bolt over here where I can see them so I don't forget about my plans, because let's face it, if you go back and watch my videos and you watch the plans video from the beginning of the year and then the wrap-up video from the end of the year, it's not everything shows up again. Some things you may never see again. And I don't always go back and check to see like what I said I was going to do. So that's the other thing that's kind of funny, that I guess I could do that, but you know, does it really matter? Probably not. I think we all have aspirations to do things. And frankly, when I made that video in January of last year, I didn't know I was going to be getting married and having to make a wedding dress. Not that I had to, but you know, making a wedding dress, making 3 wedding dresses, you know, it was quite the adventure. So, you know, things change and life happens, and you know, you just kind of roll with it. So these all need to be reclipped. I really like this lemon fabric. I think it looks like limoncello. Like if limoncello was a fabric and not an alcoholic beverage, it would look like this. I also think it looks like Italian, you know, ceramic ware, even though it's not. But that's what it reminds me of. I think it's very summer. Got some nice summer vibes going on here. And this will obviously turn into a wrap dress, probably for Anna, because, you know, she's the wrap dress queen and I am not. Some of these still have little clippies on them. Yeah, it's been a lot. I kind of had a breakdown on Thursday because I was just feeling so overwhelmed and just worried about Grandma and everything else. But I think we've kind of started to turn the corner now that she's on a schedule of, you know, taking pain medication and hopefully start mending. And then it's also the weekend, so, you know, I can go by and check on her easier, and so can Anna's there home from work, so that all helps. Oh, I clipped this one, that's good. Yeah, so this fabric rounder is kind of fun. I like being able to see my fabric. If your Joann's is closing, you should go check one out. Because initially I was thinking like, do I really want that? Like, where am I going to put it? I've reorganized my sewing room so many times to accommodate the different fixtures and everything, but I'm pretty happy with the way it looks right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would not hesitate to have like 6 feet in every direction of this room. That would make it so much easier to move around, but it's good for where it is. And, you know, it's not like I'm going to buy a new house to have a bigger sewing room. At least not yet. For now, we will just stay here and make the best of it. So, okay, that one's over there. Green linen. Green linen is not attached to anything. So I think, you know, I'm going to finish up with this. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Don't know if you're going to get a lot out of this video. It's kind of all I could come up with this week. And I think I'm going to put my patterns in these little drawers under the pattern table, under the cutting table, so that I remember which ones I said I was going to use and don't put them back in the cabinet and then promptly forget about them. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think Honey's in the way over here. I think she's ready for dinner. Honey, could you move? There we go. Look at the seersucker. There's also a bunch of books all over the table that need to get put away, and there's a bunch of planners from years past under the table, which I need to finish going through and transferring notes about things that I might need this year. And I don't know about you, but I like to set goals and try and accomplish new things. And if I don't write them down, they kind of just get glossed over at some point. So that still has to be done. They need to be crystallized in writing because right now they are just still in my head and, you know, kind of like would like to do these things, but they're going to happen. So, all right, I think that's enough chatting. I think I'm going to start with finishing up some projects this month since we're already halfway through. I mean, like, can you believe it's already or almost halfway through January this coming week? Like, it's crazy. And I think I'm going to finish up some of the hanging around projects that I had, the 2 jackets at the very least. And then, you know, start with that. That way I can feel like I've accomplished something with minimal sewing and minimal time. And then I will probably start tracing off some of these independent patterns because I don't want to cut them just in case I want to make them again. But I think that the corduroy skirt is definitely going to be coming up soon. Same with this Cosmos sweatshirt and elemental pencil skirt from Sew House 7 because let's face it, it is cold now. It finally got cold this past week. We actually had a freeze. No snow like they did up in Dallas, thankfully, because people down here, we do not get any kind of ice or snow very often. So when it happens, the city shuts down because people just cannot drive. And, you know, inevitably I end up representing them in traffic court at some point. But, you know, so for now, I think this is going to be it. I hope you are having a lovely weekend and that your week was not quite as crazy as mine was. And, you know, I'll be back next week with a brand new video. I think we're going to do interfacing next week. I think that sounds like something manageable. And then we'll work on the kimono tear and surge for the following week, and then we'll figure it out. There will be new content coming at you, and I know you're going to love it. So you can check out this video coming up next. It's tailored just for you and what you want to see, and I'll meet you over there.